Big up, everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone's well. Thanks for joining. And yeah, just got to say, what a show that DJ and Shane did tonight. That was classic. That was, I tell you what, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. And before we get into the Arsenal chat, we're going to talk about that. I think it's very important. Something very important was discussed on Shane and DJ's show tonight. Kenny, how you doing, my friend? Well done. You got your League Cup ticket today.
Yeah, that's. I'm looking forward to that. It was a case, you know, the club were very naughty. They said 1 o'clock. Yeah, when I logged in, they said it was half an hour. It was, 12:30. So some very, very sneaky people got in, and I was tempted to do that myself, but I resisted the temptation.
He was panicking. Because he phoned me.
Because I was panicking because I got through. I said, DJ, what's happened?
Because I've got mine.
And you know what I did? What I didn't do is that I should have scrolled patiently.
I said to him, scroll down, keep your cool. Yeah.
Well, nice one, though, guys. At least you got a ticket.
Yeah.
Fair play to you for that one. Big up, Paul, man. Big up, Jizz of the Legend and Sir Kenneth of Ken. There you go. Knighted. He's been knighted in the New Year's Honours list.
I have been knighted in was it King's New Year list? The King. I always say the Queen, but it's the King.
I still say that. I still say that, but we'll move on from that. Shano, how you doing, mate? Great show earlier. I've got to say, it's one of the best you two's done. Thoroughly loved every minute of it. And yes, DJ, I did vote for the green shirt before the other one was shown. We got crucified.
I've got to be honest, I was surprised I got. Yeah, I thought it'd be a little bit closer than that, but obviously, Yeah.
Well, I think it's because it's a more modern shirt. I don't know. There was other ones we could have gone for. I mean, if we had gone for the one with the names in it, it's a guarantee. But like I said beforehand, when I was in school, young lad, with my geography teacher, he's a bit of a lunatic, but a good teacher. But he came in with all these little leather-bound diaries, and he handed them out. Here you go, and it was Walsall was on the front, and he told us, I'm head of the Walsall Supporters Club in Ireland. And I just remember thinking, is there more than one Walsall fan in Ireland? I couldn't believe it. Like, a Walsall Supporters Club in Ireland. But yeah, he had all these things for us. So Walsall's always been in the back of my head. And whenever I do look out, I'm going to look out for them more now. I'll tell you that much after what I saw. That really touched me when I saw the thing that we will talk about in a minute. But it was amazing. But yeah, big up for having me on, Jez, as always, and Kenny and DJ and the legendary chat. I'm looking forward to this.
No, absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. DJB, well done. You won the shirt tonight.
Yeah, I know.
It was a classic Sweden shirt. I can't deny, but I had to go with the green one for Walsall. I just loved it. I'd have bought that actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have bought that.
How
you doing, friend?
Yeah, I'm all good. I've got me, as I said, along with Kenny today. I've got my ticket for Wembley. Me and Kenny are going to be in the same block together, so that'll be good. And if we hadn't have got one, me and Kenny, there would have been. I think me and Kenny would have been standing outside the Emirates. The only two to stand outside the Emirates, probably, refusing to go through the turnstiles until we got one because, So. No, but all good. And it's always a pleasure to be here, Jez, with the likes of you and Shane and Kenny. And always look forward to this show, my friend. Always bless up to everyone in the chat as well.
Well, thank you, mate. Thank you. Just do a couple of comments. I'll just start that one there. I think that's quite a good one to start the show on, actually. But before we get into that, Shane, DJ, on your combined show tonight, which I thought was absolutely amazing. Big up Views and Sport. Thank you, mate. Legends on the panel and chat. Smash the like. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for that. One of you, or either, both, whatever. Yeah. There was a Walsall shirt on there, which at first you guys thought it might be ex-players or passed away fans or whatever. But it transpires Go on, one of you explain it. I'm not going to do it.
Well, I'll start it and then Shane can end it. But basically, as he said, for those that don't know what the Retro Show is, it was a website that I came over some time ago now, and I got in contact with Shane and said, look, why don't we do a show that's not really on YouTube? We'll go all over the old kits. Anyway, cut long story short, we put it out there that someone offered Walsall to have a look at their shirts, and Shane was about to click off and go on to the next lot of shirts, and we discovered this, Shane, didn't we? And we thought it was players that had passed away that had played for the club over the years. But Shane, what was it, brother?
We zoomed in on it, and I was saying it's a list of names. And I remember Arsenal had a white kit which had all there was stuff written across it, the 2007-8 season. I thought it might be something like that. So those names, and we thought maybe ex-players. But when we clicked down, it showed that it was during COVID, Walsall were they offered the season ticket money back to people, and a lot of people turned it down and said, no, I don't want the club to go under and stuff like that. So they went and did a third kit with all the people's names on it that didn't take the money back. And I just thought it was a lovely touch, and it just shows the power of lower league football. I think a lot of it gets lost in the Premier League and the big money and the owners and always talking about the managers and things like that. I think people forget that clubs mean a hell of a lot to families, and it means a hell of a lot to communities. And you know, it's a lot of the time it's the highlight of a family's week. It's the highlight of someone's week going to watch them. And I just thought it was a beautiful touch by the club, but it wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been a beautiful touch by all the people who didn't take their money back, because it's a lot of money. You know, even for lower league, a season ticket, it's a good chunk of money. And I just thought it was a beautiful story all around. And big up to Walsall and big up to their fans, because that's what football's all about. It just gets lost sometimes with the TikToks and Instagrams and all that. And I just thought it was a lovely, lovely story. And I'm in the process now of ordering one of the kits myself, because I'll do it after this, because I think it's worthy of being bought and putting some money into the club. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, true. Absolute fact. I think it does show the importance of what football can do in the community. Whether you're a big club, small club, it doesn't matter. It's the love that you have for that. Big up, Donna. I haven't seen you for a long while. I hope you're well. Hope you're doing very well indeed. Well, I've been here. I've been around. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to start the show on this one. I think this is a good comment, actually. Kenny, I'm going to come to you on this. JJ07 Football 10. What do you guys make of the Eza Grocker's performances? Do you think they've turned a corner? What do you think, Ken?
Well, two good questions. First and foremost, I thought their performances were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Gyökeres was as sharp as a razor. And I thought Eze was sharp as a razor as well. Do you think they've turned the corner? Well, probably no. And I'll explain myself, because I think it's got to be said. It was very much a horses for courses selection. You know, it's a no-brainer that Eze always does well against Spurs. He scores against them. He scored a hat-trick in a corresponding fixture 3 months ago. And it's a no-brainer to play him against a team that sees him as their nemesis. So that was a good team selection, good man management. Gyökeres as well. The fact is no respect to Tottenham, but they're depleted by injury. You know, they were giving us space all over the park. He stayed on for the whole 90 minutes. He bullied, he identified Dragisin. You know, would he have had that kind of game against Romero? Doesn't matter really. We won anyway. But yeah, he identified Dragisin. Eze, got his shooting boots on. Eze's first shot and goal, first shot on target since the Tottenham game was a goal he scored. So that could be down to loads of things. That could be down to the manager not using him properly, or he's just out of form, or he's, you know what I mean? The fact is that when a team's on its knees and you want to play attacking football, you play your best attacking players. Saka wasn't doubled up on. He was one-on-one, where Sarr took him sometimes and sometimes Spence took him. He had loads of space. He played his best football. You can say the same about Odegaard when he came on. for a cameo appearance. No one pressed him, and he was able to have that much space. I can guarantee you Chelsea are better than Tottenham by a mile. And they're starting to be more organised. They've got better players who are good on the ball, and they've got a target, and they've got a potent player up front. And they have more fitter players than us. So, and I think Brighton as well, now they've got their strikers back. Danny Welbeck's, even at the age of 35, is a handful. We'll be playing better teams than Spurs, and I know this manager inside out now, and I can guarantee you I wouldn't be surprised if Eze don't get a run in the team, that he will just think, right, horse for courses, which he's entitled to do. But if they turn a corner, you have to beat what's in front of you. If a team doesn't want to attack you or doesn't want to lay a glove on you, is frightened, you put them to sword. You put a foot in the throat, you squeeze, and you don't let them come up for air. You have to be dragged off when that foot's in the throat, and that's what we were like with Tottenham. They were lucky. It could have been 6 or 7. I don't think any Spurs fan would have complained if we actually went right on them. We probably went easy on them.
Fact, yeah. Same for you then, Shano.
Yeah.
I thought both of them were sublime, to be honest. They both looked up for that game. They both looked, great to see Eze score in both games against the Spuds. 5 goals, can't argue with that. Pity he never got the chance to get a hat-trick. That'd been fantastic. That would be the first time in history, I believe, that would have ever have happened in one season. But I might be wrong on that. I'm sure somebody will know, but I've never heard of it.
No, I'm pretty sure it would have been the first 2 hat tricks over a season in North London Derby, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, Michael says first time since 1969 I can afford a season ticket. Go when I could get the chance. This season, free red memberships, £108 applied in all ballots. Total won none. No ballot for the final. Well, that's shit, isn't it?
Nah,
that is shit. That is shit. That is just a joke. Shane, Eze Grokeres, man. Sorry, I've done a different track there. What's your opinion, mate?
Yeah, they were both fantastic. I tipped it towards Gyökeres. Even before the second, I said, right, if it was me, I'd give him man of the match, because he did a lot of the stuff that he's not good at well. He finished well. We know he can finish when he gets a chance. I like the way he shifted it, slapped it. I like the way he held off Archie Gray for the second goal. But I had given him man of the match just before that, because we know Eze can do. Eze was playing the football he's good at. He was allowed to play the 10 free role, but Gyökeres is still being made to hold up play, running the channels and stuff like that, which he's not equipped for. So I gave him credit because he did all of that well. But Kenny's right. We have to take into account. Me and DJB were saying, like, no, yeah, you do have to beat what's in front of you, but it's the worst Tottenham I've seen in the Premier League era. I can't think of a worse one. They're weak. They were depleted as well. I think they had a full 11 out, but you do have to beat what's in front of you. Brilliant. Eze too, Gyökeres too. My only sort of, and again, I don't want to like piss on people's parade and stuff like that, but they were saying like that it was Eze's first shot on target, but you have to remember that when he got the hat-trick against them, the next game was away to Villa. He got shunted out the left to accommodate Odegaard coming back. He had one bad half, and he didn't start again for 10 games, right? So, we have to take that into account as well. You can't score if you're not on the pitch. So, it is a coincidence that right now Odegaard's coming back to fitness again, and Eze's just done the business against Tottenham. And now we have another game coming up, and will he shunt them out the left? I don't know. What I do know is that when the chips are down and the pressure builds over the next 2 or 3 games, Havertz will be back in and Odegaard will be back in. I don't see a world where he keeps them on the bench to let Eze and Gyökeres tear it up. Maybe, just maybe, with the pressure of knowing he has to win, will he go against his better instincts? I have no proof of that over the last 6 seasons to think that he will. I think he will go back to Odegaard. I think Eze, the pressure on him now is more so than Gyökeres. He might stick with Gyökeres. I think he will, in fact, stick with Gyökeres. But with Eze, the pressure on him now is immense, that he knows one bad half and I'm out. If I have one bad half, I'm out, and that's it. Then I'm out again for another 5-6 games, whatever the case may be. If he keeps scoring, fine. But that's too much pressure for me, where he might make the wrong decisions. So we'll see come Chelsea. I think he will start Eze and Gyökeres against Chelsea because it's just so soon after it. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if Eze's out the left and Odegaard's in the 10 or Havertz is in the 10. Because if he puts Havertz in, especially, most of the guys, the fans will say, oh, it's great, but it's Havertz, he has to play, and him and Gyökeres are building up, and we can get Eze at the left, and Trossard hasn't been great, and Martinelli hasn't been great. It could end up working, who knows? But I do sort of question why people are getting so amazed at these two working together, because we were saying from the start of the season, play those two together all the time and let them build up like Eze played with Mateta at Palace. He knows how to find a striker like that. And, you know, Freddie Ljungberg came out and said it, you know, this is Gyökeres. If you feed him, if you have a player that feeds him that doesn't stop and turn around, he'll get you goals, you know, and this is, you're just seeing the actual player now. We do have to also take into account that if Odegaard had been 100% fit and if Havertz had been 100% fit, those two players probably don't start that game. You know, so again, it's sort of landed in his lap. And that's what the squad's for, by the way. That's what the squad is for. But look, turn the corner, I think, is a bit much because it's one game. You know, turn the corner would be 6, 7, 8 games where they're both balling out, and then you go, okay, fair enough, they've turned the corner. But turn the corner, it's very easy to say that. Gyökeres looked better. But again, would anybody be surprised if we're sitting here a month from now going, he hasn't scored in 3 games, or he hasn't scored in 4 games? I think he will get more goals as it goes on. In fact, someone in the chat said earlier, I just didn't get to it, Big at the Prom said, do you think he'll get 25 goals in all competitions? I said, that's the number I gave him at the start of the season. I said, he'd be looking to get 15 league goals, but I think in other competitions, he'll score more where there's no low blocks and things like that. I said, he'll probably end up at about 25, which would be an all right return, to be fair, for your first season. But turn the corner, I think, is a lot. It's Tottenham. They're terrible. They did play well together, but we know what this guy's like, and he could easily just rip this apart in 2 games after one bad half from one of them, and would be right back to factory settings. Does Arteta have the nuts, as Kenny would say, when he put his nuts on the table and just play the two of them for the rest of the season? I just can't see it. Not my manager. Well, he's not my manager, but not my club's manager. I can't see it. He always has to tinker. He always has to do something. And it's all down to him. We said it from the start of the season. It's the only person that will stop Arsenal winning the league is this manager. If he goes against his better judgment, they might get to turn a corner, but we'll talk about it in 2 weeks and see where we are. But right now, I think it's a lot to say. But fair play to Gyökeres and Eze. They were both brilliant. Both brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great performance myself. DJ, mate.
Yes, my friend.
I think we got a bloke who doesn't. Your DJ is always in a mood.
Yeah, I don't know if he's getting me or Shane muddled up, to be honest.
I don't know. What's your view, DJ? Gyökeres and Eze. What do you think?
Gyökeres, he's got to do it in more than one game for me. I mean, you've got to bear in mind now he's had plenty of opportunities throughout the season, and it's about time in my book. I've always said start Gyökeres because he's why we bought him. I don't like the club spending money on players and them reverting back to what we had previous. That's not why we bought him. So I'm glad he's in the team. I'm glad he gets the starts. He's been frustrating for me, and Kenny's on board with that as well. I've found him frustrating in a lot of games because I keep hearing he's not had the service. And on the whole, he's not really had the service because we haven't been creative enough in the final third, full stop.
Totally agree.
And I don't care whether Gyökeres had been up front, Jesus had been up front, Havertz had been up front. They wouldn't have got the service because this season, in attack, we've been woeful. We've been poor on the whole. It's not our attack that is the reason why we're going for the Premier League. It's our defensive qualities and our defensive unit. So I believe that he had to find something different, and he had to change the way he was thinking and make it and be more selfish and be more demanding, and perhaps not try too hard and go out to the left and go out to the right, just sort of stay in that central area. And he's starting to do that now. So he's starting now to get picked out a little bit better. He's starting to get on the ball a little bit better. He's starting to, you know, he's starting to, for me, to look like a striker at Arsenal. And if he can score goals, which he has been doing, then I'm all for that. So I was pleased for Gyökeres against Spurs, albeit against a really, really poor team. Let's be honest. I want to see that against Chelsea. I want to see it at the Etihad. You know, so I'll hold fire for now. I want to see it in the Champions League if we're behind in 2 legs and we need a goal. you know, that's when I want to see it, like the great strikers have done in the past for Arsenal. So, listen, he has improved. He is going to improve. I think next season we will see a better Gorkarez than we have this season. But I'm happy to stick by him. I think he is an out-and-out goal scorer. So yeah, it was pleasing for me to see him deservedly get man of the match. As for Eze, I've been saying it all along. The reason Eze needs games, Eze needs a lot of games behind him. He would start in every single game for me. I think what's upset Eze this season, and that he's been in and out. He's had his confidence shot to pieces.
Yeah,
you know, he's played well in certain games, then he's been dropped. Then he scored a hat-trick, then he's been dropped, then he's been put out on the left, as Shane said, and he's then been dropped. It's not the way to treat a player with Premier League pedigree like Eze's got. And let's be honest, Eze could have walked into any single club in that Premiership if he'd have gone. Tottenham wanted him. He could have got into a Man United team. He could have got into a Man City team. Let's be honest, he's one of the most exciting players in the Premier League over the last 2-3 seasons. It's just that this manager has decided to use him as a squad player and not as the main man. So with Eze, that I'm not surprised how he played against Spurs, because that's what he can do. The only thing is, the only criticism I've got with Eze, he can do that against teams that are not really giving him a hard time. You know, what worries me with Eze, if you put him under pressure and don't allow him the time, he tends to go missing a little bit. And great players don't do that. Great players get better when they're put under pressure. They don't get worse. That's my only criticism with Eze. I'd like to see Eze, when there's real pressure on him, just make things happen and really, really kind of be more creative. But for me, he has got to play every game, because I think if you play him every game, he'll just get better and better and better. Going back to what Shane says, will that happen? I don't think so. I think he sees Eze as a utility player, as a squad player. I don't think he looks at Eze as his main man. I still think he looks at Odegaard and Havertz as his main team selection. As brilliant as Eze is, I just don't think he looks at Eze as his number one choice. I really don't. I think he looks at him more of a squad player rather than a number one choice. But yeah, I hope he starts against Chelsea, and let's see what they can do. The only problem is, if he starts against Chelsea, you've got to deliver, because we ain't got time now to mess around. We're not in a position where players come in, give us one game, give us 3 howlers. The players now, every single game is more than a cup final, because we have got to turn up in every single game. That's Chelsea, Bournemouth, Brighton, West Ham, Man City, every single game. You can't go hiding. And that goes for all of them. And if they do, then we're going to be found wanting, because we'll get punished. So, yeah, if you get your chance, you got to take it. Simple as that.
Yeah, interesting point. You know, I take your point as well. Squad player, a lot of money, 65 million to be a squad player. But,
yeah.
Hey, you know,
that's what he's used him as.
Well, yeah, that's the manager, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's it now? I had a good comment here somewhere. Where's it gone? Right, this one. I think it's a very pertinent point, this. Jamboy, 1894. Season ticket holders should be guaranteed a cup final ticket. Corporate tickets shouldn't be allowed for cup finals either. Now, I actually totally agree with that, and I'll tell you why I do. Because it seems to me now, talking to you guys that are season ticket holders still, and you spend a lot of money going to home and away games. It should be a given that if you get to a cup final as a fan, you should have that ticket. It was always, I know it's different before these days now of modern technology. I mean, we've talked about this, DJB and Kenny. We talked about it when, you know, you used to get the tokens in your in your program. And when that program, FA Cup games, I always used to buy 2. So I'd cut my token out, throw that one in the bin, and keep the other one, which was intact. That's why all my programs are intact, because I didn't want to ruin them for my collection. But Kenny, you know, 1,000 of, I don't know how many games you've been to, but I know it's got to be over 1,000. It's got to be way over that. And you've been to Champions League final, which I have never been to. You've been to cup finals. You were at Cardiff for the Chelsea one. Now, to me, mate, when you're paying all the money you pay, yeah, travel, food, I know you don't drink, but you still got to drink something, right? It all adds up. So, to me, if you're spending out the money you do for a season ticket, you should be guaranteed to have a bloody ticket. What's your view?
Well, 100%. But the problem is that I always say, beware of having a bigger stadium. I still say, well, the Emirates Stadium is a fantastic stadium. Unfortunately, it's made, because of the amount of season ticket holders, it made it a bit tricky for certain fans to get tickets. You go to ballots now when you don't really need to go to ballots. You know, I can understand if it's Man United because they've always had big attendances, but Arsenal, you know, when we had 60,000 fans, wasn't an issue. It was first come served, just queue around. Then when we had all seat at 38,000, every season ticket holder got a ticket. Everyone did. Champions League was a bit tricky. A few people were unsuccessful on the ballot. They made a run ballot for that. But on a whole, it shouldn't be the case, but it is where it is now. Arsenal, even as we speak, trying to increase the capacity slightly in order to meet the opposition to Spurs. Spurs got 62,000 tickets. How many tickets were available for the Europa League final for Tottenham fans? Spurs loyal fans here and there. Some of them couldn't get tickets. Same in the Champions League final as well. It's the nature of the beast. So I always say to Chelsea fans, and I know the Chelsea fans who watch, but all stay at Stamford Bridge, keep your capacity. Don't let Clear Lake suck you into thinking, oh, we're going to make it a bigger stadium, we'll be able to compete for big players. Chelsea were doing that under Abramovich. They do it under Clear Lake. They don't need to have a bigger ground, because the minute they do that, loyal fans may miss out on tickets as well. The bigger the ground, the more demand, the less season tickets holders will get to take tickets. And then what will they have to do? They will have to alter their hobby and make it into like a way of life. At the end of the day, go and watch football is a hobby. And it is a way of life. But when you don't want to miss out on cup finals and tickets, it is a way of life. You have to use your tickets. And we're in a situation now, like even away tickets now, they're going to try and force you to put it in your own name, and you make sure you attend that way. And if you don't attend, then they'll take your credits off you. So really and truly, if you really want to get tickets to cup final, your season ticket holder, get some credits on credits in the bank. Seriously, go to games. If it means taking a couple of days off work for Newcastle away, then so be it. Go to games because you'll miss it.
I mean, I've been offered now by a season ticket holder who comes to my channel. I won't mention his name. He said, if I get a ticket, I can't go, Jez, you're welcome to buy it off me. I said, great. Now, I also do have a little bit of an issue with that, because if that guy can't go, and he's been a season ticket holder for a long time, let's put it right. To me, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place on this one. To me, he should be offering that back to another season ticket person who's had to go in a ballot, hasn't got one. That, I think, is the way to go. Now, I could be selfish and say, I mean, I have said, if you want to sell it to me, I'll pay you the money. I ain't got a problem with it. Whether it comes to fruition, I do not know. He may not even get a ticket, but he said he's pretty positive he would. But that was when we first got to the League Cup finals. Hearing the dramas today about people getting tickets, I'm not sure it will happen. But hey, look. The thing is, Shane, I'll come to you. No, sorry, I'm going to go DJ first, actually, because you've got your ticket, quite rightly, and I'm very happy you have, and you're going to have a great day out at Wembley. But I do have, I've always had this problem with corporate tickets, right? Now, I'll tell you a quick little story here, right? When I went to the 79 Man United one, right, my dad, who worked for a very, very, very large company, he was very senior in that company, was offered a ticket, right, full at the old Wembley, this is, right, and he was going to have breakfast with Bobby Charlton, right? Now, my dad hated football, no interest in football at all. He was a rugby man, right? He was a rugby man, but he went as a corporate guest with all the finery. You know, he was driven there with other guests and everything. I made my way as a pauper, like I did like I was 18 then, and so he got to see a cup final, which he had no interest in.
Yeah.
Absolutely no interest. He actually said to me in the morning of the game, I don't really want to go. I said, well, you're going to be having breakfast, Dad, with Bobby Charlton. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, to me, that I have a problem with that. I have a problem.
Yeah.
A lot of high-flung people from the entertainment world, haven't got a shit in that interest in that game, right? They're going to sit in that part of Wembley. We know where it is, yeah. It's all the corporate crap and all the executive seats. And half the time, when you watch cup finals, most of those seats are bloody empty because they're all sat in bloody boxes drinking champagne.
Yeah, not interested.
DJ,
this is the problem. But going back years ago, like when I was at the cup finals in the 70s and all that, you had the voucher in your program. If you went to every single home game, you got you bought a program, and you got your voucher. You cut your voucher out, you stick it in, and then you queued up at the box office. But I remember then going back to even then, if you was a season ticket holder, you had a voucher in the back of your season ticket. That if you got to the cup final, that was your ticket, basically. So the season ticket holders were guaranteed a cup final ticket. They didn't have to queue up or nothing. And to a point, I do think if you're a season ticket holder, they know now all on digitally how many games you've been, your credits you've got, and everything else. I do believe that, and I'm not just saying it because it's me and Kenny, but I believe that I don't think that me and Kenny should have gone into the likes of me, and there's thousands of us, not just me and Kenny. I'm just using me and Kenny as an example. But there are thousands of us like me and Kenny that should not have had to have gone through the pain of going through that ballot because it was painful. Kenny was on it. I was on it. I was getting locked out. Then I was in a queue. Then you get locked out again. Then now you're scratching around thinking, am I going to get a ticket? Am I going to get a ticket? Then when you do get through, you can only get the tickets that are left. All the front row tickets and where Kenny likes to sit, I don't mind the upper stand, but they're all gone. So you didn't even have a choice as a season ticket holder. You got what was left, basically. So if the ticket was 150 quid and you desperately wanted to go, you had no choice. Now, let's put that in perspective this way. me and Kenny have been going to the home matches and blah blah blah. And I'm not saying it doesn't make us any better supporter than people that don't go. I'm not using it for that. So yeah, you know, I understand that. Everyone's a football fan, whether you go or not. But me and Kenny have been to a lot of games, a lot of games. And we was in a situation where we could only purchase tickets that were left. So if the only tickets that were left to go to Wembley were 200 quid, me and Kenny was forced to buy in that because we would have gone, or if we hadn't got the money, we couldn't go. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right.
I do not agree.
I think that the likes of me and Kenny and thousands of other fans like us that have put the effort in, carry her out on a Wednesday night, peeing down a rain, you know, Mansfield away, whatever. You should get some sort of preference when your team gets to a cup final. And I'm not saying that because I'm a better fan than everyone else. I'm just saying it because that's how it should work.
It should.
But the problem is nowadays we're all tied with the same brush. And whether you've been a season ticket holder for 1 year or whether you've been a season ticket holder for 30 years, your entitlement to a cup final ticket is the same. And I personally think that that's a little bit wrong. I'm going to stick my neck out here and say I deserve to go to that cup final because I've put the fucking effort in supporting this club through thick and thin. So I deserve, you know what I mean? I'm not putting myself on a pedestal against any other people. I'm talking it from a club, not from a fan. But I think the club owe their loyal fans some sort of loyalty when you get to a cup final.
That's the thing. You've earned, you and Kenny have earned your right. Yeah, of the God knows how many years you've had a season ticket, right? I had my season ticket for 40 years, and I'd have been really pissed off if I couldn't get to a cup final.
Yeah,
after that. God knows how much money I've blown on this club.
Yeah, and you're not saying it because you're a better fan than anyone else. I want to make that point clear. I'm not saying it because I'm a better fan than Shane or a better fan than you or a better fan than everyone in the chat or anyone watching this back. I'm just saying it from a club point of view that they should show some sort of loyalty to fans that have backed them
100%.
through thick and thin. Do you know what I mean? Because we've won 20 years without a league title, but we're still going every game. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree.
So that's where I am with that anyway.
What pisses me off. I mean, that little story I told you, you know? I'm travelling there by tube and walking from down Wembley Way. And I know that my old man in the morning is in some posh hotel in the west of London having breakfast with fucking Bobby Charlton. Well, good luck to him. No, he's got absolutely no interest in the game. He said he didn't even want to go. He was only going because of the fact it was to do with the sponsorship of something. I don't know the technical details of it, but I actually had a row with my dad about it. I said, that's a disgrace. You don't even like football. I said, in all the years, right, we lived opposite Highbury. My dad went with me twice.
Well, let me give you another example, Jez. Before Shane comes in on this, right, because I know this is close to Shane and all that. But let me give you another example. There's people with season tickets that have never been in years and years and years and years that give their season tickets away and give up their seats or get someone to take their place for them. Yeah, haven't been. When we get to a final, suddenly they now want to go and they haven't been in years. So the person that's been having that season ticket from them that's been going every single game might not now be able to go to Wembley. But suddenly now we've got to a cup final, they want to go.
Here's a question for you.
Didn't want to go any other time, but now want to go to Wembley. I just find it. I just don't find it right.
Before I come to Shane, though, and I will come to you, Shane. I do apologise.
All right.
I just want to ask Kenny and DJ this. Right, and I think I'm right in saying this one. I bet you I'd put money on certain YouTubers, certain big channel would get priority tickets. What's your belief on that one?
100%, 150%, 100%. It'd be the same people. I mean, they were saying it's always the same people. There's some people who don't even have season tickets, and they go into certain away games, which people find very difficult to get over there. They don't have any red memberships. They're black tickets here and there, blah blah blah, and they somehow get in, and they'll be at the final. They'll be at the final in the stadium.
They didn't want to go. They didn't want the.
It doesn't matter. They have to be seen because at the end of the day, it's all about content. It's all about content. Now, don't get me wrong.
I've got a problem with that.
I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to get paid, and rightly so. If that's what they want to do, and if that's their career, you have to earn, put food on the table. But I'm sure, there'll be a box parking somewhere either at Wembley. They will hire maybe a box park in Croydon when they watch the game. They'll be on duty. But the others who want to be there, they want to be there. They want to do their content. They want to be there. They may feel like they've got a right to be there. There could be a situation where we have the most insulting thing ever, that content creators who don't even support either of the teams might want something. I mean, it was the Real Madrid Arsenal game was a joke. I saw people saying, "You don't support Arsenal. Were you there because you want to see Real Madrid?" Or when we played the Barcelona about
guaranteed Piers Morgan gets a ticket.
Well, yeah, I remember when we played Barcelona about was it 16? It was 16 years ago.
Prime Minister gets a ticket.
Seeing Piers Morgan's got 2 season tickets up, so they're probably going to get one anyway, because Prime Minister will probably have to do his president, Prime Ministerial duties. But people like content creators, when we played Barcelona in the Champions League, Chelsea fans wanted tickets to see Messi. I said to one girl, tell her to F off. Because they get lost, ain't they? There's fans. Go, maybe if your team was good enough, you'll be able to play Barca. You should be going anywhere near that. You don't support either team. You've got no business being there.
Shocking. Anyway, enough of that. Shano. I'll do this quickly because I want to talk about a subject which I know is very, very exciting for you. Give me your prediction for the Chelsea game, mate.
I think we'll win. I was talking to DJ about it. I'm more worried about the Brightons and stuff like that, and even Bournemouth at home. Do you know what? If Chelsea come and start and go for it, they could give us trouble because they haven't lost in the league in a while. They can get draws. A draw at this point for Ulster City is devastating, and on a championship running. Do I think we'll steamroll them? No, I don't. I'd be curious to see the lineup. But if they get their midfield right, they already outdid us with their midfield at home with 10 men. So if they can come to the Emirates and get Caicedo and get these guys popping the ball around. Cucurella is suspended or injured. He's definitely not available anyway, which I think is a blessing for them. He's a hothead for big games. He's a good defender, but he's a hothead. I think Timber's suspended, which means that Ben White will be forced to play on his hamstring, or else Mosquera will be brought in. Will he shunt Eze out the wing? I don't know. A lot of it will be that. I think if Chelsea come and hit us early and score, I think all of the dopamine from the win at White Hart Lane will deflate out of the stadium, because we know that these guys, it's the most recent moment that they live off. They're never realistic, and I think that'll just knock the stuffing out of them. I worry for our fitness. I think if anyone's trying to deny that our players are absolutely shattered, then they're living in dreamland. I mean, this is why I was saying that we are going to fall away. I just look at City's team as fresh as they look, and I look at our team, and I just see players in the red all over the pitch. Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Royce, all these guys are in the red. Royce hasn't been able to keep up. And people say, we have a week off. It's not enough. And it's not a week off with this manager. They're not going to be relaxing. They're going to be training hard. Do I think we'll beat them? Yeah, I do think we'll beat them, but I'm not going to be in any way overconfident, because Chelsea still has some very good players. They're looking for Champions League spot. They'd love to come and spoil the party. It would be just like us to go and slip up. But I do think that a loss or a draw is coming in the next few games. I think the Spurs game kind of papered over the cracks a little bit. If we look at, I was saying it to DJ, people were saying to me, why aren't you gassed about the Spurs result? We're top and all of this. I said, I'm gassed about the result. I'm gassed about beating Spurs. That's always nice, but you need to isolate it. We came into February 7 points clear with City having no games in hand. We've ended the month with them 5 points behind with a game in hand. We've gone from 7 points clear with no games in hand to giving City the keys, where if they just win all their games now, they can win the league. How can I be gassed after 1 month where we've gone from, right, this is over, or some people were saying it's over, we weren't, to now City have it in their own hands. But we beat Tottenham. Yeah, okay, isolate it. It was a good result. Tottenham was a good result, but it doesn't take away from the fact that we drew at Wolves. It doesn't take away from the fact that we drew at Brentford. It doesn't take away from the fact that City are starting to get a bit of pace going. You know, so
at this time.
Yeah, exactly. We're used to it. But on the Chelsea game, I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close. But do I think we'll win? I think Quaj is close enough. I think it'll be something like a 2-1. But it'll all depend on if he shunts Odegaard back in, who's fit, who's not fit, who he squeezes in. But I think we should beat them. I'm more worried about the Brightons and the Bournemouths and stuff like that. But anything but a win is devastating, especially if City have gone to Leeds, which is a tough game, by the way, for Leeds or for City. Let's get that right. Going to Leeds ain't easy. I know we made easy work of them, but not many do. So if City have put the pressure on us and it's back to 2 points, that dopamine starts to wear off. And then you suddenly realise, oh shit, we're playing Chelsea. They're not a bad side. But I think we'll beat them. I'll give it a 2-1. But we'll see what the lineup is.
Yeah, fact. DJ, give me a brief breakdown. What do you think is going to happen, man?
Right, briefly, I said this to Shane. I think both teams, Man City and Arsenal, could be as we were going into the midweek fixtures. I think Leeds will. I think that could easily be a draw at Leeds. And I can't see anything but a draw, Arsenal-Chelsea. This manager's unbeaten with Chelsea in the league. He's got a little bit of revenge because of the Carabao Cup and all of that nonsense that he felt that he was disrespected and players warming up in his half and all of this. And the way we won it right at the end with Kai Havertz scoring. So there's all that on him. And also, let's not forget, they're chasing a Champions League spot. They've just seen Man United win.
True. And
they're chasing a Champions League spot. So they've got a hell of a lot to play for. So, there's a lot on this game. And I'll be honest with you, if you look at the games that we've had with them this season, we haven't really dominated them. We had spells, but when they was at 10 men at Stamford Bridge, we didn't really dominate them. They frustrated us in a lot of areas. The Carabao Cup semi-final, they had a lot of possession. We were frightened to really attack them. They didn't offer much. We didn't really offer much. It was a bit of a stalemate. And I can see it going similar the weekend. I don't think there's going to be a lot of chances. I think there's going to be a lot of cancelling out. Chelsea have got their full team back, or pretty near their full team. They've got players that can hurt you. Cole Palmer, we've got to get to grips with him. And again, what worries me, and I keep reverting back to it, there comes a point when you're chasing a title, there comes a point when your attack has to step up. And our attack has been a little bit hit and miss all season. On the left now, we're struggling. We've got Martinelli that are not really doing much. We've got Trossard out of form. Saka's not really flying on all cylinders on the right. And then you've got to look at Eze and Gyökeres. Does he trust Eze? No. If he brings Odegaard back in, it's going to slow it all down. So I'm just really, really worried. I don't think we'll lose, but I'm not as confident as going and winning and slapping them like we did.
João Pedro gave us nightmares as well in the last game. And
exactly. I can see this being a draw. I can see it being a draw. And but on the flip side of that, I can see City and Leeds I can see Leeds getting a draw with City. But the
thing is, though, DJ, you could easily just see us slap them for 3 as well, though. That's the thing with this team.
Well, this is it. Yeah, Shane, this is it. I'm at that I'm at that where I can. I mean, I didn't see the Wolves result coming. I predicted we'd win there. I said the Brentford would be a tough one, but I predicted a win there. But this game, I don't know. I just I'm only going by what I've seen this season playing Chelsea, and I've not been convinced. So I'm going to sit on the fence with this one, I think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. My prediction is it's going to be 2-1 Arsenal. That's me. Kenny, give me your brief breakdown, mate, because I want to talk about something that's all very close to our hearts.
Well, first and foremost, Chelsea have got Fofana out for suspension. Correa's got a hamstring issue, so we don't know what the situation is. But Reece James is expected to be back. You know, they're going to have the full complement of midfield. Lavia's in contention. Obviously, up top, they're back, so they're going to be very strong in that area. I'm sure they'll get Tosin to replace Reece James. Sorry, not Reece James, replace Fofana. The thing with Chelsea, whenever we play them at the Emirates, it's like they see it as a free hit. Oh, don't worry, we can't beat this side, so we'll get our points elsewhere. It depends what mindset they have. It's going to be a very negative game. You know, we only have to go back to the garbage we saw last year when we played Chelsea, where it was just it was just like, please end my pain. It was so crap. But the fact is, Chelsea are better than Tottenham. They won't want to be humiliated by Spurs. They'll have a go when they need to have a go, but they will be very, very workmanlike. I think it'll be like the odd goal, 1-0 Arsenal, or a draw. In terms of Man City and Leeds, well, if Leeds play, I don't know what's going to happen, but Man City do have more lead in their pencil, and they do have a chance of giving us a bloody nose in the title race. So who knows? But whatever happens, Chelsea game's going to be tight, and it'll probably, if it goes the old goal, it should be Arsenal, because I suppose we'll have a little bit more than us, but don't be surprised if it's a score draw.
That's interesting. Right, let's move this on. I want to talk about this. This is actually Shane's idea, so big up to Shane. Though. Going to do this each week. We're only going to get to one player this week, but next week it will be Alan Smith. Shane, the other Friday, Friday, you had the honour, the great honour of meeting Mr. Arsenal, Tony Adams. It must have been an amazing night. I met him once, but not to the level that you did. Must have been bloody awesome. The fact, I'm going to start this off, and then you lead on, and I'll come to DJ and Ken. He was such an icon at the club, right? I'm going to make a quote. When at the age of 24, he got banned at Christmas time for drink driving in his Ford Sierra. Unbelievable. It was devastating for the club, really. He's just starting to make his mark. And Bill Shankly said the great man was painting a picture in words of the 60s Liverpool skipper, right? The momentous Ron Yeats. Now, Jules Graham, the manager at the time, said, right, just having him on the pitch is worth so much. Just shows what an icon he was to the team, the fans, the players. The floor is yours, my friend. Give us yours.
Yeah, well, look, Tony Adams to me is everything about Arsenal. I've got the jersey now; it's framed up there. You can see it with the one he signed for me. He's everything that Arsenal's, I suppose, stood for, at least. But like, it's very easy to get caught up in what he means to the club and how iconic he is, and the captain that won in 3 different decades and all that sort of stuff. But it's very easy to forget just how good a defender he was. I was talking to people at that, and I was saying that for me, outside of Arsenal, and even in some cases inside of Arsenal, I think he's underrated, massively underrated. When people talk about the best defenders of all time, he's never on the list, and he should be. He really should. I was talking to Gianni about it. Gianni was saying the same. He goes, he'd get in any of those Italian teams of the past. He'd walk into them and he wouldn't look out of place. The best defenses you've ever seen. He could happily stand beside Baresi and not look out of place. I love that there was the two halves to his career. There was the half when Wenger came in and said, you know, you're allowed to play with the ball. And he was like, thank God for that, because I've always been able to. I just wasn't allowed. And we saw the silky side of him. We saw the two different captains. We saw the fish shaking captain and then the philosophical captain when he got sober. Even when you start going into that, what he did off the pitch to help people struggling and things like that, it just shows what a man he is. One of the first autobiographies I read was his book. Well, it's still possibly the best autobiography I've ever read, by the way. And he gave all the money to help with people that were struggling. So he's not just a warrior on the pitch. He's just an amazing person. But do you know what it was kind of like? When I grew up watching Arsenal and he was playing, it was kind of like the same feeling of going to like a junior disco when you're 12, but you have your older brother walking down with you, so you know you're safe. Mm-hmm. When he was on the pitch, you knew it. You knew we were safe. Like, you knew Arsenal were safe. When he was on the pitch, he would make sure nothing happened because he'd give everything to stop a goal going in. And he's one of them. Like Vieira, when you saw his name on the team sheet, you went, we're going to be all right today. We should be all right today. Tony's playing or Patrick's playing. Or it was one of them. You don't really get that with forward players because you don't know if he'll get the service. But with a player like him and Vieira, that's the heart of the team. When you see their name on the team sheet, you go, you know what, we're going to be all right today. So for me, he's up there as he's definitely the greatest defender we've had, the greatest captain we've had. And I just think, you know, without him, Arsenal, as they stand now, wouldn't be the same. And I think he needs to be held in most people's top 10 lists of the greatest centre-backs of all time. And I include all the Beckenbauers and all in that. He was unbelievable. And I don't think he gets enough credit. But what a guy, man. What a guy. And when he told me he was proud of me, I tell him, man, I was choked up for hours after. But what a guy, man. What a guy. So I'm so happy I got to meet him.
Mate, it must have been an amazing night. I can't deny the fact you got a signed shirt as well behind you right there. I've never, ever had a signed Arsenal shirt. There you go. But well done for you, my friend, and well done to your wife for bidding on it.
Yeah, man.
That must have been a great honour, and fair play to her. DJ, you can't deny it, man, what this guy achieved at Arsenal. Yeah, you remember that game? Highbury scored the winning goal, 5-1. Yeah, won the league.
Yeah,
presentation. It was something else, wasn't it?
Deservedly a statue. Deservedly gets all the accolades. I don't think he gets enough praise personally of what he actually meant to Arsenal. I'm with Shane on that. But I remember when he got the winner against Torino to get us to the last four of the Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah.
You know, he scored 1-0. Torino.
Same against Spurs in the semi after the heartbeat.
Only captain of Arsenal. Yeah, only captain of Arsenal really to lead us to a European glory. I'll go back years with Tony Adams, though. I've mentioned this to Shane, and it's incredible. He's a Dagenham boy. I knew the road he was born down. I knew the school he went to. He played for Barking and Dagenham districts, along with myself and Steve Potts and everyone else. So Tony was always going to be an absolute brilliant player. But Arsenal, wow, honestly, what can you say? And for me, he was kind of, how can I say? Yeah, he was a sheer leader, and you got to remember he took a lot of stick from away fans when he first came on the scene. The donkey chants, and he was getting a lot of abuse. People say about the abuse now, and it's wrong, but he used to get torn to shreds. He used to get a lot of
drinking and everything as well,
and right up close as well. And he overcome all that, and he had a lot of issues as well with his off the field stuff and everything else, and he overcome that as well. But every time he put on an Arsenal shirt, he never let us down. You never came away from watching Tony Adams play for Arsenal and go, oh, he's had an absolute shocker, hasn't he? Look at him. He's had games where you think he's not quite on it, but you've never come off and gone, oh, gee, he needs to be dropped. His position was never his position was never in doubt. You would never be having the same conversation about Tony Adams like you would do Odegaard and all of that now.
Exactly.
And all the players now. You would never be having that conversation now. There is no one in. I can remember sitting in pubs and lounges and coming out of grounds and going, he should never be captain of Arsenal. He should never be captain of Arsenal. It never even entered your head. Never entered your head.
Did you ever hear anybody ever say, well, he went missing today?
No, it would never enter your head. You know, if it needed editing, he'd edit. If it needed clearing, he'd clear it. Sometimes he weren't the prettiest of footballers, but you didn't want that. He was an out-and-out defender, a leader, and he epitomised what everything Arsenal stood for. I'll just leave on this before Kenny comes in. I think the mark of Tony Adams with Arsenal Football Club is he got it. He got the history of the club. He got what it meant for playing for Arsenal. All the Ted Drakes, the Frank McClintocks, the Herbert Chapmans, the whole history of the club, he knew. And and to me, every time he played, he didn't just play for the football team and himself. He played for the whole history of what Arsenal stood for. And that, to me, was the reason why Tony Adams was probably one of the best players I've ever seen at Arsenal. Because he just got it. He just got it. That was it.
See,
Go on, Kenny.
Well, when I think of Tony Adams, I always, when I grew up, it was always Pat Rice. He was the sort of like the standard bearer of the club, obviously, because I started with Terry Neal days. And obviously, you hear about Frank McClintock as well. He won the double. He was a captain as well. I never thought I'd see an Arsenal captain of that stature, you know, like Pat Rice. I never thought I'd see anyone with Pat Rice. Pat Rice was everything to me. You know, won the 70. He was a captain in 79, played in 71. He was like, and he was, even though he was born in Belfast, he was a local boy. He was brought up in Islington. He came as a kid. So he was Mr. Arsenal for me. And I never thought I'd see anyone take his place. But Tony Adams' debut kind of passed me by because it was 1983. We lost against Sunderland. You want to forget about it. But I think he came to prominence. The first time I really took notice, it was 84-85 season. It's a game against Man United. Remember the live game when they beat us 4-2? He started that game. And you thought, right, have a look at him. And then he disappeared under the radar. I don't think Don Howe, you know, kind of fancied him because he was, towards the end, he was Don Howe, Steve Mertenshaw. They were using Martin Keown. They were trying to push him alongside David O'Leary. And then George Graham deserves a medal. He does a statue for one decision, not just for all three in one. It's for him recognising, he said, right, I'm playing this lad. I know what George Graham saw in him. I'm sure if I go and ask George what he saw in Tony Adams, he'll tell me, and we'll be there for about all day, and it'll be a pleasure to be all there with him. But you've identified that guy and said, that's my man. So from the first game of the season, Man United, 86-87 season, he was a fixture in the side. And I could see him bossing people around. He wasn't even 20 then.
I know. Crazy.
You know, Rocast was 19 as well. Noel Quinn, I think, was just about 20. And he was bossing everyone around. First game of the season, Man United.
This is a guy, sorry, Kenny, to go across you. This is a guy that couldn't stand up in class and read from a book. He was too nervous.
I know. But
you know what I mean?
We beat Man United.
Put him on a pitch, though.
Yeah, Charlie Nicholas got the goal. And then from then on, it was just a fixture in the side. And one thing people forget about Tony Adams, he scored quite a few goals. He was good at set pieces. Everyone talks about Gabriel Magalhaes being good at set pieces. Tony Adams was the main. He was the main.
Oh, yeah. He scored a lot of goals, Kenny, didn't he?
60 goals he got in the score.
Yeah. He scored in the North London derby when we beat him 2-1 in the 100th North London derby at their ground in 87. Then he obviously semi-final. He was obviously playing in that Little's Cup game, and then a big fallout with Kenny Sampson and George Graham over the signing of Nigel Whittlebird. He got the captaincy. He wasn't it was the best decision ever. He's only 21, and then that's when he became an icon. And then I remember when he made his debut and being really, really proud and so happy that Tony Adams was in England playing for England, and I was really looking forward to it. And then, you know, he got the baptism of fire in the Euros, Van Basten, the Eels, And to come back from that and win the league, that was a big FU to everyone who criticised him. And then the year afterwards, where he didn't get selected for England, Bobby Robson chose Mark Wright over him because he was better on the ball. I think that hurt him. Hence the fact he went drinking with his pals, goes to prison, comes out of prison, takes his punishment, lifts another trophy. And that is an icon for me. He is Mr. Arsenal. Yes, he was born in, he comes from West Ham territory, him and Ray Parkin and Dagenham. Probably a West Ham fan as a kid. No, I've got no urge to that. Ray Parler supported West Ham. But to get our club, to understand what we were about, to work with Bruce Wirrock briefly, for Arsene Wenger, to actually listen to him, and that helped us win the double. And then for him to get all his sinews and all the, wreck bones to go and win it again in 2002. To me, it's Mr. Arsenal. There will be never a Tony Adams. No. Anytime I choose a greatest Arsenal team, he's always going to be in it.
Always going to be in it.
You all picked him. Everybody that did it on my channel, he was the first one in.
If Tony Adams told me to go and face the wall, go and do it.
Yeah,
because it's Tony Adams.
And another thing, Kenny, always a great player is everyone that's played with him or played against him has never had a bad word to say about him. Even the likes of even the great players that have played against him will always say.
Shearer always says it.
Who's the hardest player that you've played against? And they'll say Alan Shearer.
I'll tell you one thing. If I was Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba, forget the language barrier, forget the age. You need any advice? You give this guy a call. No Declan talks to him. Declan won't disrespect him.
Well, Tony said at the thing I was at that he'd love an ambassadorial role, but they haven't given it to him.
You know what? If they won't give him ambassadorial, then so be it. He'll always be cheered louder than Arteta. He'll be cheered louder than any other players. Yeah. The only players that fits his stature is Henry, Bergkamp, Brady, in that level. And there's a lot of Mr. Arsenals, but there isn't. He's the only Mr. Arsenal. As far as concerned, don't give him a job. Don't worry. In our hearts, he's our man.
Yeah. And I think but as I said earlier, I think he respected the captains that went before him, and he always went on the pitch with that responsibility. The great Pat Rice's, the Frank McClintocks that went before him that he knew about, and I think he played as if to say, right, I'm now the next legend of the football club, and it's in their honour that I'm doing all what I can,
But, there's two sides to his captaincy as well, DJ. There's the story of him grabbing Lee Dixon. Obviously, forget what the manager said. We do not lose the North London derby. That's the same thing with the Bergkamp one where they were playing away to Sunderland. He said to Dennis Bergkamp, he goes, listen, you've got more talent in your little finger than I have in my whole body. And Bergkamp, oh yeah, but I've got 6 trophies and you've got none. Why is that?
Yeah.
And Bergkamp was taking it back. You need to do it on days like this. There's that side, the snarling side, but then there's the incident with Lauren as well, where he had a bust up with Lauren in train and Lauren wasn't giving it 100%. And he was roaring and shouting at him. And then he said, I'll have a coffee with him. He went and had a coffee with Lauren after. Lauren said, oh, my wife's got cancer. She's struggling and all this sort of stuff. And he went back to Wenger and said, he needs time off. You need to give him time off. He needs to go. Yeah. There's that side as well where he'd go. There's the one where he got the day off training and stuff for them. There's that side, and then there's the snarling side. He's everything. Like you said, he represented the club. The club came first. Yeah. Always a club. Signing contracts without looking at it. Proper.
You have one more thing about Tony. He knew when to shout at players and when to have a go.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't have a very good relationship with David Seaman, it seems, because David. I don't think David appreciated Tony having a go at him, and I think Tony, he never really had a go at David after that, and Alan Smith as well. But some players, he knew the players he needed to keep up the backside. But the thing with Tony is his honesty. Alcoholism, come back from alcoholism, his honesty is only paramount. It's just a shame the club don't want to use him. But you know what? Arteta's not going to be here forever. There may be a role after all when Arteta leaves, because at the end of the day, the club's bigger than Arteta, and Tony will always be a legend.
Facts, 100%.
We're going to wrap it up, people, because we're going to go over and join Potsy's show in a minute.
Big up, everyone.
The chef, stop using EPL content. I've reported you to the FA. Well, that shows you how thick you are, because the FA has nothing to do with the Premier League. And the fact of what you're jabbering on about, you little muppet, is that Herd video, right? I actually own the rights to it. Well, I don't own it, but I've paid to have the rights to it, so I'm entitled to use it, and that is why YouTube don't have a problem with it. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you have the rights to show it, then they will do nothing. So fuck off, piss off, don't watch, please do not watch.
What was that? Stop using EPL content. I don't know.
Because you're just a bloody idiot at the end of the day. So we're going to wrap it up. Ken, shout yourself out. Where we going? What you're doing? What you up to?
Well, I'm going to be with you and DJB in any moment now. And obviously, I think DG wants to record us.
Yeah,
with DJB on Thursday, and then obviously I'm at the London Derby, Arsenal versus Chelsea. So that's my week coming up. But yeah, we are going to be next door in Dan's channel.
Fair play, mate. Shano, shout your channel out, mate. Tomorrow morning, the Irish Breakfast. I love that show. I always watch it. I don't always comment.
Oh, of course.
But I do always watch it.
No, big
like up. But yeah, go on, mate. Shout it out.
No. But first off, thanks for having me on, of course. And Kenny and DJ, it's always a pleasure. And big up to the chat as well. Yeah, full hours tomorrow. And then Thursday is 1 year, and the channel's 1 year old, which just so happens to fall on the 300th episode of the Full Irish in a row. So we're doing a giveaway and discussing the 20 best books I've read on football, just for something different to do. But yeah, tomorrow, usual time, and then Thursday will be a bit of a fun one. But big up for having me on, absolute legends, and fair play.
No, it's always a pleasure to have you ones on, the real ones. As Mama says, report away, carry on, jog on. Big up, Mama. Good to see you back as well.
Yeah, big up,
DJB, my friend.
I've got
shout
gonna go on Arsenal huddle. Gonna go on Dan's. Got me midweek mingle, me and Normski, and then on with DG. I mean, yeah, funny how he comes out the woodwork when Arsenal win. But anyway, we're going on DGs and then doing something with Kenny on Thursday with Dan. I think Dan's going to come and join us as well. I just want to say congratulations to Shane for a year. I want to put this in because the work rate he puts in and what he does, what he's done all this year. Big up to you, Shane. Big up to you, Shane, and congratulations on your channel for a year. You've put a lot of effort into it. And but Jez, thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure to be on this show. I absolutely love it. And big up to everyone in the chat as well.
Thank you just say very quickly before it passes on that Sheppo, who did put me on, who told me to do the Walsall kits, messaged me and said that the people who had their names on the shirts, that Walsall also gave them a free shirt.
Wow.
Wow.
I might even have to get that shirt now.
I'm looking it up after this, so I'm definitely ordering.
Awesome.
Fair play. Anyway, people, I'm going to do the outro. We're out of here. I'm going to show EPL content.
Yay!
That little
yeah, go on. Show it.
It's not. That video is owned by the band The Herd, who actually created the song and the video. So see you later. Take care.